Alrighty. Well, here we go. Episode 1. Hi, everyone. Welcome to It's What I forgot the name. Totally like, oh, God.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. Take 2. Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 1 of Spoiler Alert. It's an HEA. Why are you looking at me like that?
You just sound so okay.
I'm always being held under duress. I am
Um,
not on this planet willingly.
well, it just sounds like it a lot.
You have no idea what goes on in my brain and what I read day in and
You
day out.
gotta tell us the first episode.
Okay. Excitement levels. Let's fake it. Hurrah.
Hurrah. What year is this? Hurrah. Huzzah.
There you go. Okay.
And then she spills water on her computer. My work one. I knew she spilled water before she even said anything. This is the worst.
She's gonna kill me. Good thing we're separated by a computer screen.
Let's try it one more time.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Spoiler Alert. It's an HEA with Chrissy and Julie. Very excited to be here for our first episode.
And on our first episode, we are going to dive into The Worst Best Man by Mia Sosa. We learned about Mia Sosa earlier last year sometime. And I love the fact that her book incorporates Brazilian culture into it because I have been working on my Spanish and now I'm like, let's go Portuguese. I'm going to learn some.
That is very on brand for you. As you all do not know, Julie, she's a Duolingo or is a former Duolingo user.
Former.
She would do it every night at 9 Duolingo. But if you haven't seen that reel or TikTok by Munya, like the British content creator in Duolingo,
I was doing Duolingo at Beyonce's concert in
yes,
August while
yes,
I'm sitting there screaming and I'm like, Mesa table. Hola, hi. It was the worst. I was so angry.
gotta get it in before that nightly reminder.
So back to Mia Sosa. She's Puerto Rican and Brazilian, and the way she was raised definitely like it shows in her books. So she was raised in a women focused family where it's just like single women raising their kids.
Yeah, love matriarchs.
And let's, I guess, start.
Yeah, we can dive in.
Okay. So this book is from two perspectives. We have our two main characters. We have Lena and we have Max. And as Mia writes the book, we kind of hop back and forth between the two. And it starts with a prologue where we're introduced to our two main characters. The
Mm-hmm.
first one is Max, and he's 25, and it's his perspective. And all we know is that Max has woken up super hungover from a bar crawl.
Yep.
Have you ever gone on a bar crawl?
Yes and no. Yeah, I have technically done it once, but honestly, I don't really remember it because I was watching the stupid royal wedding of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. So,
Ooh, huh? It was like at 4 a.m. What are you talking about?
I know. Oh, I wasn't in the country. I was in Japan. That's why.
Okay. I was like, oh, mommy had an alarm set to wake up and watch it live.
It was literally evening. It was like 9 or 10 p.m. And I was walking through an area that had izakayas and we were stopping to eat and drink. And I just had my phone watching the wedding while doing that. So
Look at you. Yeah, no,
multitasking to a T.
this is your life.
I know. I regret that decision so much because I could have had more fun that night.
C'est la vie.
Hmm.
Well, I can't do bar crawl because I get really tired the more I drink. So we just do one or two and then we call it good.
Boring.
Rude. Anyways, back to Max. So Max wakes up and he gets this text from his brother, Andrew. This is our villain. Boo, Andrew. Sorry. Um, and Andrew's like, hey bro, what you said last night. Thanks for saying it. You're right. I can't do this. I can't marry Lena. Can you please tell her I'm already gone? Bye.
Yep. The worst,
He's
worst
the
thing
worst.
that you could do to a sibling, to a friend, is to have them break up with your fiance the day of your
Oh
wedding.
my God.
I'd actually murder you. I'd hunt you down and I'd probably murder you.
I wouldn't murder you, but I'd set your car on fire. Car for sure. House, no, because maybe the dog would be in the house and
Yeah,
and I have a bigger problem. But
for sure.
I'd set a car on fire.
Okay. That is reasonable. Check to see how much gas is in it first.
Oh yeah, we don't want to blow everything up.
Mm-hmm.
Would you bail me out?
Depends.
What?
It
Wrong
costs
answer.
you know how much it
Wrong
costs.
answer.
Bail bonds?
Oh my God. Okay.
Who has
Thanks.
cash like that? Also, what
Thanks.
would I leverage? I don't have, well, I guess
Thanks.
I'm about to have a car. Don't have any property.
Listen,
Can I leverage my student loan debt?
sure.
I don't think that's
Highly unlikely, but listen, the way you need to scrape those pennies together and come find me. Okay. Whatever. You won't bail me out? My mom will.
facts. Mommy would come find you.
Yes, my mom, not your mom.
Mm-hmm.
So anyhow, Max is blowing up his phone. And of course, his brother's not answering. And Max is like, okay, well, I'm just going to go tell the bride, Lena, that she is not getting married in the next 45 minutes as she originally planned to get married.
That is a mess. And Max does just that. He proceeds to go downstairs. And for the life of me, I don't understand this part of the book and like what Max was thinking as to why he was like, well, I'm not going to tell mom and dad just yet because dad's already pissed that we're running late and like mom's just no use. And I'm like, was there no other friend? Like, was Dean not there? Was no cousin there for you to
Dean
be
wasn't
like,
invited to the wedding. Dean is Max's friend. He's
oh,
not
right,
Andrew's
right.
friend.
Okay, okay, fair. But I just like couldn't understand why he couldn't like run this by anyone. But nonetheless, yes, he goes downstairs. He knocks on Lena's door and begins to break the news to her that Andrew is not there. Andrew has left and they have to come up with a plan, you know? And also at this point in the book, we're switching perspectives, and Lena is going to talk through her heartbreak, I guess, or her shock of like Max not being present. Well, Andrew
Not
not being
Max.
present.
And yeah.
Andrew not being present and Max now informing her of that.
So part of Lena that I think is like the part that I identify with a lot is she's like, I already cried once today, so I'm not going to cry again. And
Yeah.
we're just going to figure this out. And I feel like that's who I am. I'm like, I cried once this year. We're done.
You cried once this year, Julie. You're done.
I did.
Meanwhile, I'm like, good luck with that.
You can cry for both of us. Thanks. I'll be okay.
I'm tired of crying. I literally, I guess it's for another future episode, but I read a book recently on the plane and I literally sobbed the last 20 minutes of that flight like a psycho.
I love when books make me cry. I can't wait to read it.
I was embarrassed and I couldn't stop reading, so it meant I couldn't stop crying. It was just so wholesome. Sorry,
Well, I
random
mean, you're a
tangent.
quiet crier, so I guess it's not the worst thing ever.
No, I'm not. I'm not screaming or sobbing. Praise be.
Okay, so Lena is kind of reflecting on her relationship with Andrew, and she's like, we get along, and there are so many benefits to us being together. Why would he do this? And she doesn't say how she loves him or how
Yep.
he like just makes her heart go pitter patter. She's like, it's easy. So let's just get married. Why would he call this off? And she's like, my parents, not my parents, but my mom and my family are going to kill him when they find out what he did.
Yep.
And then we fast forward in the book to present day. And now we're at another wedding, but it's not Lena's wedding this time.
Thank
She's the
God.
wedding planner. And she has this very interesting bride who chose to wear a chartreuse dress.
Very eccentric.
Eccentric or just terrible?
Eccentric.
Okay, I wouldn't
I
wear that color on a any day of the week.
you have to be able to express yourself as you see fit.
Paint your nails that color.
Fair. I also don't wear much color, but I appreciate it when other folks
Oh,
do, I guess. So
mhm.
there's that.
Well, this wedding is kind of doomed from both sides because the groom had a really fun night and his groomsmen shaved off his eyebrows. And I personally would just have a heart attack if on the day of my wedding, my person has no eyebrows. And I'd be like, hello, person. What are we doing? Cancel it all. We'll try again in 2 months.
Yeah. If not, they'll look like an angry bird.
Oh my God. I would die. I would die. I would die. So Lena like steps in and she gets her makeup bag and she manages to put on some kind of eyebrow looking thing on the groom's face and saves the day. And at the reception, she meets
Rebecca Cartwright.
thank you, Rebecca. And Rebecca is like a hotel mogul. She owns the Cartwright Hotel. And she's like, "Oh, I like the way you handled this wedding situation. Call me."
We are thankful for Nepo babies. And this Nepo baby is trying to save Lena or give Lena a new
Give
career
Lena.
opportunity.
Yeah, she's not getting it. She has to apply for it.
She has to apply for it, yes. And I guess this is the part of the book that things get interesting and move at a bit of a faster pace. So, in this part of the book, we Lena is now going in for a meeting with Rebecca and also going in to meet the marketing team that will be handling the Cartwright Hotel's marketing. And at first, she doesn't really think much of it. She's like, I'm gonna wow Rebecca. I'm gonna give her the best project that I can give. So Lena has extra pressure with this job opportunity and getting this job opportunity because her current rental that she has with her aunt's boyfriend,
Boyfriend, new
sort of boyfriend,
friends. That's her
that's her
friend
friend.
who sometimes they hang out naked, but that's her friend.
That's her friend who is just around the family consistently. But she's been renting her office space from him, and he's now like up and move. He's about to up and move to Florida, and she's like, Marcelo, like, where am I gonna go? And she now especially needs this job because she wants to ensure that she has space and that she can retain her business because like wedding planners have to have an address because like a really good point pointed out by Mia in the book is that then folks wouldn't want to work with you because if you don't have a permanent space they think you're just going to take their money and disappear, which is not something I had ever thought about but makes total sense.
Be like, we always meet at Panera Bread, and I've given you $3,000. What's happening?
See, clearly I'm not thinking critically about wedding planning and money because I'd have been like, okay, I found this website. Looks
She
gorgeous.
looks great. She has reviews.
Where do I sign?
Yeah, no, you'd be like, oh, my money is gone. That was lovely.
Exactly. But yeah, basically, she's now entering into this job interview with Rebecca, and she's like, I'm gonna wow her socks off. I am gonna get a job for me, gonna get a job for my assistant, and this is all gonna be great. I just have to
And the job pays super duper well. It's
six-figure
a
salary,
hundred
benefits.
thousand dollars for her.
Yeah, yeah. Even
And
the
like,
salary for her assistant is like half of that. Like
yeah,
base level's 50.
let me
In what
get
world?
50 for being a wedding planner assistant.
Literally, people in DC are assistants and making less than that. So, yeah,
I work for the government and I would quit my job and do two of those.
yeah. But you'd be so exhausted though in a whole nother mentally way. Yeah. Plus, you did do wedding stuff for a minute.
Yeah, but it was just like day of wedding planning assistant.
Well,
And it
coordinating
was
day
like,
of,
here's $200 for your help with the wedding planner. And I'm like, yeah. And I was on my feet for 16 hours. Thank
yeah,
you for these
yeah,
$200.
yeah. Ugh.
Okay. So, anyways, when she walks in to the second part of her interview, she is met with dun 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 dun. Andrew and Max are there. The ex-fiance and the brother who gave her the bad news because
Yep.
they're like the marketing firm. Is
Mm-hmm.
that? And she's like, "Oh my God, I want to cry. I'm not gonna cry. I'm gonna pretend like I don't know them." And she's like, "Nice to meet you. My name is Carolina Santos." And they both kind of play along. And she is tasked to work with one of them who will help create the marketing for her as the wedding planner of the Cartwright Hotel. And Rebecca lets them choose who's going to work with who. And she's like, "Of course, I'm not going to touch Andrew with a 10-foot pole. So,
Mm-hmm.
Max, you and I are partners. Let's do it."
Yep. And from there, Max and Lena reacquainting with one another takes off. Andrew gracefully bows out, and
Was it
Lena,
graceful though?
he was silently sweating and freaking out.
Because he's a big baby.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess not gracefully, just quietly panicking is like
Uh-huh.
more so it.
Yeah, no, and then afterwards, when Lena leaves, she's like, "May the best marketing director win." And Max is like, "Or the best wedding planner?" I mean, come on. This is not for us, it's for them.
Yeah. But I guess like the most important thing to note here with this whole entire like exchange is that they're all now lying to their boss, or like, well, definitely Max and Andrew's boss, and then Lena's prospective boss, which I'm all for lying to jobs, but
Sounds great.
it makes no sense how
Maybe
you're,
lying. Maybe like embellishing the truth.
yeah, but like,
Okay.
okay, like you can embellish the truth or lie when it comes to
No,
like,
stop calling it that.
okay, you can embellish the truth. But I don't understand why you would choose to embellish the truth around a prior relationship when either your boss would pity you hearing that this man called off your wedding day of, or just be like, okay, well, they can't have a professional working relationship here. Let me just look elsewhere. Like,
I mean, I could totally see myself doing what Lena did.
mm,
Honestly, I'd be like, "Oh, nice to meet you." Except I would have
yeah.
been successful in the end. Spoiler alert, it all blows up. I would have made it work. And then once I got the job, I'm like, "Oh, do you know that I know that? You haven't heard the story? Oh, I thought they told you." And it would
Okay,
have been
fair,
perfect.
fair. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen here, y'all.
Mm-mm. So we meet up with Lena and Max a little while later, where they are having lunch together.
Mhm.
And Lena is like, "I am going to get back at these brothers for the way that they ruined my life a couple years ago." And they're at this Brazilian restaurant, and she asks for the waiter to bring a little pot of spicy sauce with peppers in them
Mhm.
because Max says, "I like spice." And of course, she asks for it in Portuguese, and then the waiter's like, "Are you sure?" And she's like, "Yeah, bring it on." So Max takes it, his mouth is on fire,
Yep.
and Lena's smiling and she's like, haha, point one for me. And this kind of like starts their back and forth in the relationship. And really, when I say back and forth, it's usually just Lena who is doing things to Max. And Max is just kind of taking it. So later he says, let's go do a capoeira class together, which is like Brazilian martial arts. And she puts him on his butt, and he's like, man, I kind of like that just now. She put me in my place. And they start to meet at different events because he needs to see what she does as a wedding planner. And she needs to let him in to help kind of build her portfolio to help the Cartwright Hotel hire
Yeah.
her for the wedding planning position.
Mm-hmm.
So the next time that they go out, they go to a bakery where we see that Max has a sweet tooth and he eats all the cake and feels like he's gonna die.
No, he
And
doesn't just eat all the cake. Lena like is punishing him and tells him that she has a dairy intolerance so that
does she
he
say I have a dairy intolerance, or does she say, dairy intolerance?
I am hold on, we're gonna fact check.
So at the end of it, she's like, I never said I had it. I just said,
Some people
no.
have it. I guess I'm Max in this situation where I didn't clearly follow the words.
Yeah, words mean things. Gotta listen to them. So he eats all the cake with this groom who can't decide, and they get into a cake eating contest, and Max feels like he is going to die. And she sees that he has some frosting on his face, and she wipes it off, and oh, the butterflies, they start a fluttering. And they have this
Fluttering.
moment, and he's like, oh my God, I think I like my brother's ex-fiance.
Yikes.
Terrible. This is like when you just go dig a hole for yourself and you go lay down and you
Yep.
don't get back up. And we meet his best friend Dean, who tells him, no, we don't do this. This is bad. I'm taking your phone and you're going to sleep because we're not going to text her. We're not going to entertain this kind of relationship.
Yes. However, Lena invites Max to another wedding event. This time it's a wedding rehearsal with two grooms. And as fate would have it, one of the grooms gets a call, has to walk away. And Lena is now subbing in for the groom and listening to him recite his vows. And she gets super emotional. Like,
Yeah, this is when I'm no longer like Lena.
because Lena is unable to pull it together. She is deeply touched by his words and thinking about her past relationships and like the current status of her life. And yeah, like she breaks. And who's there to watch her break? Max.
Oh,
And
Max.
yeah, Max is there. And immediately he is like, you know, I'm going to step in. And he gives her a napkin. No, I think a handkerchief. Cause like, he's this upper middle class guy who just walks around with handkerchiefs, not like even a pack of tissues, but a handkerchief. And she steps back and he takes over. And now there's Lena.
Well, so she watches him and he goes up and we learn some of Max's backstory
Oh,
where
yes.
ex-girlfriend who's a hoe, Emily.
Yeah.
And Emily essentially was like, ew, I got the Walmart brother and your brother's the Target brother
That's
and
so
breaks up
rude.
with him. And I was like, ow, that hurt. And then I was like, do I know any good Emily's? Because I feel like I don't. And then I was like, I like Emily Van Camp. Now, Chrissy, this is before your time, maybe, but I know I watched Everwood all the time growing up in high school.
I watched it with you. I should not have been watching it as a
Probably
little
not.
elementary school student.
Well,
So
Emily on Everwood, I loved. And then I was like, who played Emily? Wasn't it Emily Van Camp? And then I was like, yeah. And then she was Emily in Revenge too. But I liked that Emily,
yeah,
even though
yeah.
Revenge went downhill really fast. But
It needed to be a mini series, but that's a whole separate conversation.
where is she now?
I have no idea, but I'm also not one to watch much television
I'm
currently.
gonna go follow her on Instagram.
Yeah, you should do.
I remember she was Canadian. I love all things Canada.
Canada has given, I guess, America a few different random actors and actresses that
Oh,
are
she
great.
got a baby.
Oh, okay. So that's where she's
She got
been.
two babies.
Oh, wow.
Hold on. Is it the same baby? I feel like they look like they're different. One is walking and she's holding one. 5 years married, 12 years. I think she's married to the guy that was on Revenge with her.
Her co-star love interest?
Uh,
That's weird.
yeah, the Grayson guy. She married him on the show. Okay, hold on, sorry. So she married him on the show because she pretended she was pregnant, I think, if memory serves me right.
Yeah.
And then while they're on this yacht vacation, he finds out that she lied about her pregnancy, and then life implodes. I mean, that show made me want to go to the Hamptons, and I still want to go to the Hamptons one day.
Make it happen.
Okay, we're
Make
bringing.
it happen.
So sorry,
So,
so sorry, so sorry.
all good. So we end out this part of the chapter with Lena, drying her tears, getting back into the creme de la creme of wedding planner. And she thinks through like she has this like inner monologue where she's basically just like, I need closure. I can't keep torturing Max. It's not bringing me any peace or joy. And it's time to rope in the family. Is that correct? Like,
But is she gonna stop torturing him if she then brings him to Rio de Wheaton?
okay,
Isn't that
fine.
like the ultimate torture time? Here, come apologize to my mom and my cousins and my tias because of how your brother left me at the altar.
Okay, fine. The closure that she actually wants, because I'm misquoting Mia's words here, is that she wants to know why. She wants to know why Max discouraged his brother from marrying her. And she can't just ask him that exactly. So she's about to use her relatives to get the answer to that question and to have closure in regards to like what led to the demise of her engagement.
Yeah, so then he invites her to another outing, but she's like, pick me up here. And when he goes in, he realizes he's being ambushed by the whole family. And it becomes a whole thing where they're like, oh, look at you. You're the brother. And, he's like, respectfully, it wasn't me that did this to her. I would never do this to somebody that I love. I would treat them with the utmost respect and all the love, and I would be dependable and reliable and all the things that you want in a person. And the family is like, oh, I think we like you now. And she's having a panic attack because she's like, first I had these butterflies with the cake, and now he's saying all the right things. And oh my gosh, I can't believe this.
And she
Maybe we
runs.
She runs. I mean, I would run too. Remember my hole from earlier? I'm still digging. We're gonna go hide in my hole because this is just chaos.
Facts. We would just have to do that. But yeah, the family hears Max's speech, loves it, and Lena runs away. And when she gets back, Max,
Party, party,
the family is tearing up the grocery store floor because they're
Grocery store. It's a shop.
okay, the shop floor.
Yeah. And Lena's like, okay, let's dance, family. And she's shaking it and she's moving, and Max is like, oh, I'm liking what I'm seeing over there. And he's like, I have to leave now because my thoughts are not pure and I may do something that I don't mean to do. So he's like, I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go. And he texts the best friend, Dean, and he's like, can I come over, please?
Yep.
I
And,
need your help.
and he runs to Dean's house, and Dean is basically like, you need to get it together again. Like, you cannot like your brother's ex-fiance. There is no future there. You will ruin everything.
And Max is like, I'm ready to risk it all.
And for that, Max and Dean share Dean's bed for that night so that Max can stop temporarily his impure thoughts about Lena, which is just all have adult conversation,
Impure,
guys.
pure.
Okay, fine.
I
That's
said
fine.
it first, and I hate that I said it because it's in my brain.
I know. See, I repeated you.
I know. I'm sorry. I took us down this path. Not pure versus impure.
Yeah, I don't like that.
No,
Sounds gross.
it absolutely does
Very
because
outright.
washing is real, and it's like it's embedded in there no matter what.
Yeah.
We
That's
can shut it down.
well, I guess it's more so Dean is scared, not Dean. Max
Matt,
is Max is scared about his feelings about Lena and he's spiraling in his thoughts of does he like her? Is he attracted to her? What is this? Is he
he
just
knows he's
losing his
attracted to her
well,
for
he
sure.
knows, but he's just over analyzing and overthinking it because it's such a precarious situation that they are in.
Yeah, you want your brother's ex anything. You want your brother's ex. It's gonna be weird.
Very weird. She was about to be your sister-in-law. You broke
Facts.
her you broke her heart the day of her wedding to your brother
I mean, did
also.
he break it or he broke it on behalf of his brother?
He broke it on behalf of his brother, but intent versus intention and all
Don't
that.
shoot the messenger. I was just the getaway driver. I did not rob the bank.
Sure, sure, sure. That is, yeah.
I'd probably go to jail still, but okay. So they have this trip coming up that is like the best trip ever because they're going to check out a wedding venue that is like maybe an hour away from where they live in DC.
They're heading to Surrey Lane Farm in Ravenhill, Virginia.
Oh, Virginia.
Hmm.
Well, he offers to drive and she's like, nah, I got it. Let me drive. And when he shows up, she has this beat up Volvo. And he's like, wait, what? I can drive. And she's like, no, 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 no. I like to drive. I'm going to drive. And of course, on their way up, they stop at a rest stop. And when they get back in the car does not start. And they are really close to the farm. And he's like, I should have driven, but let me go look and see what's happening. And he takes off his shirt, and she's like, oh, yeah, take it off.
He literally only has on a t-shirt.
Well, she was like, no, 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 take it off. So she calls a tow truck, and the tow truck is like, we don't have any Volvo batteries here in this town. You have to wait until tomorrow. And they're like, well, the place we were going is super close. Can you drop us off? So they get dropped off, they do the tour, and they ask for a room. And they're like, no, Mary and Joseph, there are no rooms left in the inn. You
Sleep in
must
the barn
with the animals.
on the
And
hay.
back back to the Bible. And
Well,
what
honestly, what's the most biblical thing that you can do? Marry your brother's wife.
facts. Keep it in the family. Take care. But usually they're like a widow.
Usually, yes. Or they kill the husband to take the
Whoops.
wife.
Any
David.
accidents happen?
Hmm.
Okay, so they get into this fight because he's like, if we drove my car, we would have been on our way back home by now. And she's like, well, you blah, 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 blah. And this guy overhears them fighting, and he's like, oh, yeah, I've had those kind of fights with my wife. And now that we have figured out marriage, we do couples retreats. And we have one more room available for you guys. So, of course, they're like, yes, we are indeed a couple. Please let us have your room. And they get to stay at the inn with these other couples where they do couple retreat games and they start playing together and talking together and they end up having a pretty serious conversation with this game or this like conversation startup.
Yeah. Well, basically, they're trying to have like each partner within the couple share like three specific things where they should dive deeper into what is like bothering them or is something that they're unable to like move past, which is like, of course, the perfect exercise for Lena and Max. It's literally why Lena previously tortured Max with her family. Like she's trying to get to that why. And it's also a perfect opportunity for Max here because he wants to have this conversation. He wants to share, and he's now been provided the perfect opportunity to do so with Lena.
I'm trying to find the part where it has the things. It's like, tell me what you want me to do more.
Oh, the game is called I Wish You Would, I Wish You Wouldn't. And each couple had to share three things that they wish that their partner would do or would do more of. And then the other person had to share three things that they wish their the other person then had to share three things that they wish their partner wouldn't do or would do less of. And this exercise was meant to like remove any like defensiveness and allow each partner an equal opportunity to have a turn to discuss all of this and basically explain why those three things were top of mind for them and to allow for each partner to understand where the other one was coming from.
Okay, so Max's things are, I wish you would open up to me more because I feel like you're closed off and you're not telling me everything. And they are like, Lena, do you want to respond? And she's like, no, thanks. And then number two is, I wish I knew how you felt about me as a person. Are you angry at me? Can we move past it? I want to move past it. I've changed, I've grown, and so have you. And they're like, do you want to answer? And she's like, I like you, Max, as a person. I think that I've gotten to know you a lot better. I'm not angry anymore. Let's just keep moving forward. And then the final one that he says is, I wish you would see the potential in us. It's hard to see because of our history. And I don't know what our future is exactly, but don't shut the door on our potential love.
There's
And she's
something
like,
there.
wait, what? Ah! And the ladies are like fanning themselves in their seats because it's like, oh my God, look at the way he's speaking to her. And then finally they're like, okay, Lena,
Your
you
turn.
you want to go? So she decides to go. And she's like, okay, well, here we go. I want you to be less oblivious because you say I'm closed off. You want me to cry. You want me to be angry. I do all these things. I am an Afro-Latina woman. And when I do them, people don't take them as, oh, poor her. They take it a lot more intense. And that's how I lost my job because I got emotional one day and I couldn't pull it together fast enough and I got fired.
Mm-hmm.
And Max starts to realize, ah, man, here I am, this white guy who has a lot of privilege. And I
Mm-hmm.
never even thought for a second that, oh man, this is how people would perceive her. And he like does some reflection. He's like, I've been the person in the conference room where it's like, oh man, it's getting a little emotional in here. And, looking around at colleagues and not realizing that he was doing what those people have done to her. I think at least. I think he does some of that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Does he see himself as that? Or is he like, yeah. No, yes, he says that the
Yeah.
woman's tears make him uncomfortable. I was
Yeah.
I was trying not to put words into Max's mouth.
Yeah. Max was doing some self-reflection and he is a privileged white man that is a bit of a misogynist.
A tiny, tiny bit, but he's aware of his shortcomings and he's working on them.
Yeah. If you're able to acknowledge it, that's definitely an initial step.
Mm-hmm. And then she also says, like, hey, stop comparing yourself to other people. Cough, cough, cough. Your brother Andrew. You
Mm-hmm.
are your own man. Just live your life. And she's like, and that's it. So she never responds to his third wish of like, hey, you and me, girl, what's up? Let's see what's coming up. And he's like, okay, fine. It's been a really long day. No biggie. Let's, put this game on pause and we are going to leave. And they head up to their bedroom that they're sharing. And this inn is like my worst nightmare because they don't have bathrooms inside the room. I just wouldn't use it. That's
It's
just it.
disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. You're talking about a minimum of 5 bedrooms. So like
Six.
10
There's
people.
six
Oh, there's
couples.
6 couples. Oh
Plus
my
the
God.
host.
So there are 14 people sharing one full bath.
Dead.
Disgusting.
Dead.
Like I
All the hair.
couldn't
What?
be me.
Nope.
But they luck out. They're the first ones in there for the evening. So I guess that's like the God smiling down on them.
Listen, the way I would be like, well, I'm sorry, I smell. I am not showering until I'm back in my home. And this trip was an impromptu thing. So, they don't have any clothes or anything. They get like a,
Well, they have like to go like emergency because Lena's a wedding planner. So she's always prepared. Except, well, no,
except for
underwear.
a big problem coming up. So she goes in there and she washes her underwear in the sink. And it reminds me of my camping days back in elementary school where it's like, here, let's hand wash your underwear. And I'm like, but I have underwear. And they're like, wash it and dry it because you need to know how to survive in the wilderness.
I don't need to survive. Let me go. It's fine.
I will be the best outdoors woman you have ever seen. Probably not the best, but I would make it a long time
It's because you watch Alone.
because alone is the best. I know. I mean, I can't shoot an arrow, but I can build a fire in theory and a house in theory.
Okay, fair.
And I know the rule about bears. Do you remember the rule?
I do. And I
What is
rather,
it?
if it's a white polar bear, say goodnight.
Okay,
It's a black bear.
fired.
What is
I'll,
it?
I'll, I'll remind you.
Okay.
Brown, lay down. They're nice. They're not going to bother you. Black, attack because you have to fight a black bear or it's going to kill you. And if it's a polar bear, just lay down and go to sleep. It's
See,
gonna
this there you go. Which is why I would join the rest of the girlies on TikTok.
because
And
it's white. Say good night for
yeah,
the white.
yeah. So that's why on TikTok, when they were saying, would you rather be in the woods with a bear or a man? I would choose the bear because I know the chant in my head, but for
You
whatever
don't
reason,
know
just
it, but
now I couldn't
uh,
repeat it. But I would trust the bear more.
facts. I would too.
There you go.
Predictable bears.
Yeah. And hopefully it's a brown one.
Yes, browns. So, she takes her shower. She comes back and she's just kind of like sitting in the bed, and then she realizes we're in the cup in the bathroom, and Max is in there. I want to die, and she covers her head, and she's just hiding.
Yep.
And then he comes back in, and she's like, "I'm not going to move. Maybe he will think I'm asleep." And he's like, I brought something back that you lived." And she's oh, thank you so much. And the relationship starts to kind of change, and they're getting kind of like, well, maybe we could explore this tension that we have, but it has to be just, you know, there is no end in sight with like us being together. This is we enjoy each other.
Temporary
Let's have fun and call it good. And they both
situationship.
a very big situationship with just awkwardness. But
Hmm.
they push forward and they're about to seal the deal. And she's like, do you have a condom? And he's like, yeah, I got some from the bathroom. And she's like, let me put it on for you. And when she takes it, it's a terrible joke. Is it a joke? I guess it's a joke for some people.
It is a well, it's a joke for for what's the retreat guys? I can't remember his name, but it's a
But did he
joke.
do it? Or is it like the
Yeah.
end?
I feel like he and his wife did it. Well, I don't think his wife knew he did that, but I think he for sure did it. Like it just seems like something that he would do.
Terrible. Well, inside the condom is no condom. And instead of it being a Trojan, it's like a Nojan or something like that. So they're like, are you kidding me? And, they make do with what they have. And they're like, okay, well, we're not going to actually have sex, but we'll do everything else. But, and they wake up in the morning and it's like, okay,
Everything has
let's,
changed.
yeah, like this last night was very intense. And they woke up and it's not awkward. It's not weird. It's just like, oh, a kiss, good morning. That's nice. Let's do this. And he's like, okay, the car's ready. Let's go. And they get in the car and he has a pit stop that he wants to do first.
And he is taking them to this really beautiful tulip field that one of the participants told him about, because clearly he took that the person that shared this with him and also gave him the condom told him about this place, and he was like, gotta check
Okay,
it
so,
out.
but no, now everybody needs to know that Max has gotten condoms in the morning.
Oh, right. Lena doesn't find that out till later on. But yeah, they're heading to this magical tulip farm, and Lena has no idea where they're going, but she gets into the driver's seat because again, she has to drive her shit Volvo, and they proceed to head out there.
Now the field's like in the middle of nowhere. They say that if you're there and you look around, you can't hear any traffic, any build, any cars, anything. It's just kind of remote and quiet.
So they head out to the tulip field, and Lena is immediately stunned by the beauty of it and loves it, and is immediately thankful that he took them out there. And they run through the fields, they look around, they take photos, and Max is like, let's sit and enjoy it for a while. And they then begin hooking up again with one another.
So they finally have sex and seal the deal. And he gets off the car and he's like, oh, yeah, you guys just helped me scratch the first thing off my bucket list. Thank you. And it's just like, huh? What do you mean, Max? Is it me? Is it sex outside? Is it sex in the car? We don't know, but it just feels yucky to me and to Lena. We both are like, this is weird. And then to top it off, Max gets in the car and he falls asleep like instantly. And she's just left to drive and sit there and stew about kind of like, did we make a mistake? Was I just like something he wanted to do to compare himself to his brother? What is happening? This is terrible. But, she is tough and she kind of just pushes through when he wakes up and they start to just get back down to business. So once they get back home, she tells her family that they slept together and they're like, oh my God, what's happening, girl?
It's also Easter Sunday,
It is Easter Sunday.
which, like, for these folks that are religious, Lena and Max's family, they're both
It's
like missing half of the day already because they've gotten back so late.
So after Easter, they have plans to go to the restaurant at the Cartwright Hotel and try the food so that they can talk about it in their presentation for her pitch. And this is when everything starts to go bad. So they're
Yeah.
sitting there enjoying their Tom Collins and her martini or margarita or whatever she's drinking. They're kind of just, flirting, enjoying the time. And this guy comes up who is like the restaurant manager. And he's like, hey, Max, how are you? I haven't seen you in so long. And they're catching up. And Max is like, was he at the wedding? No, he wasn't at the wedding. Maybe he was at the wedding. And this guy is like, and you look familiar. And she's like, I don't know why. And all of a sudden, Rebecca walks up, and Rebecca's like, you guys, what are you doing here? And, they're like, we're trying out the food to help our proposal. And this man, he just needed like a sniper to take him out because
Yeah.
he's like, at this moment, oh, I'm so sorry that you and Andrew never got married. That was really rough. And Rebecca's like, I'm sorry, who, what, huh? And this man like outs it that Lena was engaged to Andrew. And now the potential boss knows that
Mhm.
she was in this deceptive web that they had spun for her. And she says, okay, let's talk Monday. First thing, you guys. Bye. And Lena wants to just crawl into this hole that I've been digging the entire book with me and just,
She does do that, except in a bathroom, a public bathroom, which is disgusting.
I mean, she just locked. I think it's only like a one stall though.
Still, the front door is there.
Sometimes your car is too far away. You just need a little hole. So she goes in there and she hides and she's like, this is terrible. I want to die. What am I going to do? It's my fault. I started this all. And Max talks her down from the ledge and they leave the hotel. And Monday she goes to talk to Rebecca, person to person.
Yep. Following that, Lena basically acts one for Max to not show up there with her because she wants to handle it on her own.
So Rebecca's like, I hope you wow me, girl, because this is a story. I kind of like you, but you're still in the competition if you want to be in it.
Mhm.
So Max comes over to the bridal salon slash her studio, her office for the next like month because her 60 days is almost done. And when he sees her, he's like, "Oh, hey, sexy girl, how you doing? Kiss, 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 kiss. Da 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 da."
In
Andrew
walks
walks.
Andrew.
Thank you. Oh, let's try it again. Da 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 da.
In walks Andrew right
This
as they're
guy.
kissing.
Why is he even here? We don't know. But he's like, "Oh, I knew that this would happen because you always want to compete with me, little brother." And he says all this really like nasty stuff about how that was going to be the mother of his kids and you're with her and this is just
Hmm.
like Emily and you always I had her first, like just really like problematic all the way. And he says,
Disturbing. That was his like go-to stream of
yeah.
consciousness.
Oh, and then he's like, "Don't worry, mom will be happy to welcome her back in the family because she just loves Lena, and we'll all be a happy family." Mic drop from Andrew, and he walks out.
Well, before Andrew walks out, he like nails the nail into the coffin. He finally tells Lena what Lena has been wanting to know
Oh my
since the
God.
beginning of them reconnecting with one another and working on this project.
I
And
forgot this is it too.
yeah, so we've reached the climax of the book, and Andrew tells Max and Lena that Max did not encourage him to cancel the wedding, and it was his own decision.
Yeah, he says that they were talking about where Max would go on his honeymoon, not how he could never be married and marriage is terrible. And he wants to go to Costa Rica, which I'm like, okay, sure. That could work. But Max is like, but you lied to me, you lied to mom and dad, you lied to the whole family. And the whole family treated him crappy for the last however many years because they were like, you were the reason that your brother called this off.
Yep.
And Andrew leaves, and Lena's like, well, don't worry about that. The conversation went well with Rebecca. And poor Max, Max is spiraling, and he's
He's
like,
distraught.
girl, what are we even doing? Like, you were my brother's ex. Why are we even trying this?
Yep. He's like,
And
this has reached its expiration date, even though it's been like several days by now.
yeah, maybe 2 weeks.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, probably yes. About 2 weeks because they had to complete the rest of the project, right?
Mhm. Well, he's like, bye, girl. We'll finish this pitch, but that's all we got because this could absolutely never work. And Lena is a little bit heartbroken because she's like, we stopped something that maybe could have been. And she's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I'm gonna cry a little bit, but we're going to try and push forward because I have a job that needs an office, and this is the best and only option for me at this point. So she puts on her game face, and now I'm back with Lena. We're the same person again.
So Lena pulls it together and pushes through the remaining parts of her project with Max. And they are communicating only over email. And in each email, Max is like basically trying to like find out if she's okay, how she's doing, because he's breaking apart into a million pieces. Meanwhile, Lena is like not
I'm
engaging with
fine.
that, just gonna
Everything
do
is
the
fine.
work. Yep. And they're able to pull it off. They complete the project, they present it to Rebecca, and Rebecca loves it. And Lena gets the job.
Well, we left the part where part of the reason Andrew shows up at Lena's is because he and his wedding planner guy are falling apart. And
Yes.
we learned that Andrew has been just like riding the coattails of his brother, but pretending like he's doing all the work. So nobody knows that Andrew is actually trash at his job and is also a trash human being.
Yeah. Yeah. He is complete and utter garbage.
This weekend now, after she gets when she gets the job, is her cousin Natalie's wedding. And originally, Max was a +1 for her. And she was like, please, you are still more than welcome to come. I really thank you for all that you've done. We've worked so well together. I'd love it if you were there. And he's like, well, I have a work thing. I'm flying in, so I'll be there for the reception for sure. And she's like, great, can't wait to see you. So once he gets there, she is doing her maid of honor speech.
Oh, she actually got the job offer before the at the wedding.
She did. No, she got it before. She was they were turning off the office phones
And the
that
voicemail.
she could enjoy it. Jaslyn was getting everything set up because Andrew walked in, this hoe.
Oh, right, right.
I hate him. So she's giving her toast and she's like, part of the reason why I wanted to do this is because of the way that Natalia and I think his name is Paolo, the way they love each other.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I thought that, if you love somebody, it would make you weak and make you show your emotions. And that's another sign of weakness. But when I look at these two, they don't take advantage of their weaknesses. And instead, they open themselves up and they share their weaknesses, and together they become strengths. And, blah, 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 love, love, love. Spoiler alert. I'm talking to you, Max, in the back of the crowd. This is for you, homie. And Max is there and he's like, oh my God, I think she's talking to me. And she's staring at him, and he's like, okay, girl, can we go talk somewhere quiet? And they go up to the garden rooftop at the wedding venue. And there are all these like fairy lights and beautiful seating. And it's just like, oh, this is the moment where he's gonna propose to her.
At her cousin's wedding, her cousin who asks for there not to be anything of the sort,
But he doesn't propose to her. He
thankfully.
proposes love or a relationship.
He proposes, I guess he apologizes for being a fool.
Big dum dum.
Following that, he proposes that they try this again and that they see where it can go because Lena's his only option, his only
Not
choice.
the second choice, not the backup, not the it's my turn, but you are the only one. And when he says this, I got a little bit like, oh, that's so nice. And then we have the Tias and her mom in the back, and they're like, ah, man. And
Crashed it.
her mom gives one of the sisters money from her purse, and she's like, Mom, you were betting against me? And she's like, No, I was betting on Max. And they live happily ever after. The end.
The end. And that is Max and Lena's happily ever after.
Now, who was one of your favorite characters in the book?
For sure, Lena's cousin, Natalia, because she's insane in all the right ways. You need someone who's going to tell you the truth and tell you it's fine to hook up with your ex's brother's fiance, but also threaten violence against him if he threatens to do the same thing to you as his brother did to you.
Yeah, you have to threaten violence. Sometimes it's necessary for some people.
Yes. What about you? Who was your favorite character?
That's a hard question. I asked it, but I didn't have an answer prepared. Um, I guess I like Jasleen, but Jasleen in this book doesn't have a lot happening. And I
Mhm.
guess I like her because no, I don't like Jasleen. In the second book, she's still becoming, rumor has it, Jasleen's book is book number 3.
That makes total sense, and she
Mhm.
deserves it. She's been a supporting character for long enough.
Solange, can Solange be my favorite? They just talk about her in one sentence. She's book number 2. I love her. Uh, um, I guess, I guess Lena, because I we're similar, but then we're also very, very different
Yeah.
because she also is a little bit too sappy. Not
Yeah.
too sappy. She's sappy enough. Oh
Yeah.
no, Rebecca. Rebecca Cartwright's my favorite. That took me
Girl
too many.
boss.
Yes, yes. And she's like, and you know who else? Their mom, the Max and Dean's mom, where she's like,
Girl
I
boss
will
number two.
child of mine. Yeah. Uh-huh. Those are my 2 favorites. I'm sorry.
Lovely. Thank you so much for answering the question that you asked me but did not have an answer to.
It took me a long time, but
Very
yeah.
on brand, Julie. But yeah, we hope that you all enjoyed our review and summary of The Worst Best Man by Mia Sosa. We're continuing down the Mia Sosa highway, and we're going to be talking a little bit about The Wedding Crasher on our next episode.
I think I'm gonna name my daughter Solange.
You could totally do that if you have a daughter and you still want to name her that.
How about just my child? I think it's a unisex name.
Yeah, it is. Call them Solo, which is cute, like a solo cup.
Red Solo cup, I fill you up. Let's have a party. Let's have a party. Okay. um, it is time for us to call this one good. We hope you enjoyed our recap of The Worst Best Man. And if you have not yet read The Wedding Crasher by Mia Sosa, pick it up this week. The audiobook also is fantastic if you want to do that on Hoopla or Libby. And we will catch you next week.
Yep. And in the meantime, if you want to get in touch with us, follow us over on Instagram at spoiler alert HEA. Or feel free to send us an email at spoileralerthea@gmail.com. And yeah, we look forward to chatting with you all over there.
This is Julie and Chrissy signing off.
Later.
Bye. Party, 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 party.